There are positive things that are out there, but there's also some challenges that families face. One being is self-care. That's why we promote self-care, because they're often worried about taking care of someone else all the time, that they burn themselves out, and that causes more stress. So that could cause lead to family violence sometimes. It could cause to disturbance in the work environment. For instance, if a parent has a child with a mental health concern and they're constantly just focusing on the child, because it's an innate thing for parents to want to take care of their children. However, they neglect themselves, and in return, they come home being angry, frustrated, and then sometimes yell at the kids, not realizing that they're doing that just because they're frustrated, and that starts to really affect the family and break that support up. So I would say self-care, especially for parents, is difficult.
A lot of people who have family members who are dealing with mental health, teenagers especially, do not deal with it in healthy ways. And especially with the students that I work with who have had experience with mental health issues or who have had family members experiencing mental health issues, you start seeing missing class a lot. You start seeing getting into fights at school or outside of school. You start seeing reckless relationships, reckless sexual activity. You start seeing sometimes criminal activity. You start seeing basically anything you can label a kid as a bad kid. You start seeing those behaviors, usually, in my experience anyways, with students who are dealing with mental health issues in the home.
Looking back in retrospect, I've been a little angry. Not angry at him, and not angry at the person, the whole accident, but the situation. It seemed like I was so angry at the situation, and it consumed me, and it was a tough thing for me to deal with.
I realized years later that I think I was quite cynical. I basically kind of was, as a kid, I was kind of at war with life, and at war with the fates, and at war with God, and at war with any situation with the universe that could have basically taken an innocent, lovely, wonderful person and given her this condition. I didn't understand the justice of it or the logic of it, and the fact that that's the kind of world we lived in made me really angry.
You get frustrated because they're not happy, and it's not something that they can just get over and break out of it. It's an ongoing thing that's a long-term thing, living with depression or living with schizophrenia. And you get burned out sometimes because you just feel exhausted from repeating yourself or trying to do the things for them or helping to support them. So it's frustrating. You get burned out, you get tired.
One of the things I tell family members is the first person that you need to take care of is yourself. And immediately the guilt factor sets in. I'm a mama bear. And if someone were to say to me, put yourself ahead of your child, I would think they were absolutely, out of their mind crazy. That's the silliest thing. I would never do that. But the reality is, in a family where mental health is involved, you need to put your health as a family ahead. Because how well will that family member be if you are not? Especially if you're a primary caregiver. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you possibly expect to take care, guide, assist, support your loved one who is ill? So we tell families to look after yourself. Take care of yourself. It's okay to have a life. You're entitled to take a vacation. You're entitled to laugh. You're entitled to have happy days. You're entitled to be able to sleep at night and not have to worry. It shouldn't be as much of a burden. Some families learn how to manage that. Some families don't.
Focusing on a healthy lifestyle has been very, very important. I think a regular exercise regime, healthy, a very, very focusing on nutrition, focusing on being active, staying active, avoiding alcohol, cigarettes, focusing on a very, very healthy lifestyle. We're very fortunate that our son doesn't drink and he doesn't smoke. And you know, we emphasize and model a healthy lifestyle. We work out together at the gym. Very, very important. Very, very important as a way to reduce stress and as a way to induce a sense of well-being.
Well, the first thing is to realize that the only person you can save is yourself. So that's an important thing, to know what your limitations are. You can offer people support, guidance, but ultimately each person is responsible for their own recovery. That's an important piece. I think for family members, like siblings, often feel like overlooked in all of us. So if you're a parent, many times just to have some compassion for yourself, because many family members explain that all their energy goes to the person who is not well. And what about the other people? How to keep it in balance? And sometimes some of the other siblings start acting out. They may think that their sib is putting it on. They may think they're to blame. So there's a lot of responsibilities, and I think it's to say that you're in a very difficult situation. First of all, you've got to try and keep your own head above water. Just look at your own self-care, and then just go slowly, one day at a time. I think what happens with this is that families can start feeling very catastrophic, and it can feel so overwhelming. So going one step at a time can be very helpful and useful. And again, just doing the things that you normally do in your family. That's good for the family, but it's also good for your loved one who is not well, because when they start becoming cognizant what's really wrong with them, if they feel that they've impacted that family to such an extent that the rest of the family is in a disarray, that causes a lot of difficulty.
It's very seductive to become a professional caregiver, to have it take over your whole life, to become just the way we say to people with the illness, you are not depression, you are not bipolar disorder. You experience it, you have it, but you're not it. With family members, you are not just your loved one's caregiver. That is not you 24/7, which means that sometimes you need to say, you know what? I need now to stop. I need to replenish myself. And that's a very hard message to hear.
When you are upset, when you are angry, when you are hurt, you know, maybe not lash out at the person that you love who's triggering it, but know to step away and allow to heal yourself, allow to care for yourself. Because if you've got, you know, a family member suffering from mental illness, and on top of that you're filled with rage and anger and distance, nobody's going to be helped. And you know, allow yourself to have your emotions. Don't bottle it up. But you know, remember that engaging continually, step by step, no quick fixes, but patience, love, understanding, patience towards yourself, understanding towards your own frustrations as well, are elements of healing, not just for the loved one, but for the whole family.